This guy is a freaking white supremacist. His channel name is Masaman, and Massa is what the black slaves used to call the white slave owners. Oh my god. How did they find out my secret? I was so careful! Hey, what's up everyone? It's Mason here, and I just want to give a huge thank you and shout out to my 50,000 subscribers on my other channel and my 600 subscribers on this one. You guys are the best and have just given me so much, and I'm extremely grateful. I always was a bit of a loner in my teen years, and I would have never imagined I would have so many people that enjoy my work. So let's go ahead and get right into this Q&A, which I've been putting off for literally months. So I was going to do a Q&A for 1,000 subscribers a few months ago, but my channel was growing so fast that I was like, you know what, let's just do it at 10,000, but I never got around to doing it. So I'm going to be taking the questions from what people asked me, I think it was in July when I was at 10,000 subs. So surprisingly, the number one question that was asked by far was why do I do what I do? Why am I interested in what I'm interested in? And that's a really good question, and I'll have to say it stems back to probably high school. Now, in 9th grade in high school, my parents put me on some ADHD medication known as Vyvanse. And if you know what that stuff is whack. Like, it'll mess with your head for like the entire day. I mean, I'm sure it's good for some people, but for me, it would give me like really weird side effects. And one of the side effects was that I was like super antisocial. And in like 9th to probably 11th grade, I hardly talked to anyone in my classes, in the halls, or anything like that. I had a small group of friends. But what I would do during classes, instead of the ADHD medication helping me focus on my schoolwork, instead I found myself being focused on other things, especially in my geography class. I was taking AP Human Geography, and I'll never forget, it wasn't like just one moment I was like, I am super interested in geography. No, it took a while, actually. It took a while, and one day we had a test on countries in Africa. And I was like, oh, this is so easy. And I got every single country right, all 50-something countries right, except I mixed up the Democratic Republic of the Congo and the Republic of the Congo. Because I was like, oh, Democratic Republic must be the smaller one. But no, that's not true. So I got that wrong, so I got like a 98 on the test. And I was really upset. That was, by the way, the only class I was doing well in. Because in pretty much every other class, during those class times, I would pretend like I was taking notes, but really, I would be doing weird stuff, like I'd be calculating stuff. Like, for instance, I would love to calculate the populations and areas and GDP of certain countries. And if you know the channel Real Life Lore, he does a lot of stuff like that. That's basically what I did. I would create my own countries out of existing countries, and I just thought it would be so cool. Like, I remember my first, geographic obsession was the Central Asian countries, the Stan countries. I just thought it was so weird. I was like, they all end with Stan. They should just be the same country. But that was before I started, reading in the textbooks, reading online, finding out more about those countries. So I'd say it was probably high school that I started learning more. I started collecting globes. My parents and grandparents and stuff, they would give me globes to collect, and I would just stare at them for hours. I know it's weird, but I would just stare at maps for hours. Yeah, really weird, I know. I wasn't a normal kid by any stretch of the word, but I mean, I did have fun in high school. I did normal stuff. I played sports with friends occasionally. I played a lot of video games in high school, I will say. Not so much recently, because I just don't have time. But yeah, I would hang out with friends, but during class, during school, and even during my job, I was a cashier from 16 to 18. Even during my job, whenever I have spare time, I would pull out a piece of paper and a pencil, and I would just be writing numbers down. And I even made, my own code language. I called it Masonese, which, I don't know, I might share it on this channel one day. But I would have my own code language and my own numbers, so when people would look at it, they'd be like, what the heck is this? And I was like, oh, it's nothing. It's just for a class, I would lie, but really it's just for my own entertainment. And a lot of people also asked, what was the meaning of your channel name? which, if you don't know, it's supposed to be pronounced Masaman, you know, like Mason. It was like a screen name I had when I was a kid and I played video games. I think I first got it playing like Battlefield 1942 or something, because it was like Mason and Man, but I combined them, and instead of Meso Man, it was just Mesa Man. So no, it's not Massa Man. It doesn't have anything to do with slavery. Like, oh my god, I've seen literally. You'd think I was joking, but people actually think that it's like some secret code word that means I'm a white supremacist. Like, what? Another question that I used to get asked quite a lot, actually, not very much recently, but when I first started, I would get asked, "What race are you?" a lot. So I'll go ahead and try to be as detailed as possible. I have mentioned this before, like in several videos, but I don't like to mention it like every video because it just comes off as obnoxious, you know. But yeah, my dad is white. His dad is German, actually, Pennsylvania Dutch, from Pennsylvania. Both his parents are from Pennsylvania, and his mom is Scottish, Irish, Dutch, and Welsh. And that's as far as it goes. To the best of my knowledge, I know I don't have any English ancestry on his side, but yeah, both of his parents are from Pennsylvania. They moved to the San Francisco Bay Area before my dad and his brother were born. So my dad grew up in Redwood City, I believe, which is right outside of San Francisco, or right outside of San Jose. And then he moved to Texas. Well, he met my mom in California, but my mom, she's from Texas. She's from here in the Dallas area, and her dad is from Iran, as I've mentioned before. And my grandpa, my Iranian grandpa, he's half Gilaki and half Azeri, which are two ethnicities near the Caspian Sea. And when he came to this country for university, I think in the 1960s, the U.S. government actually classified him as colored. You know, so he had to go to an all-colored school, which back then meant all black. And so that's how he met my grandma, who's black American. And so, yeah, it's very interesting. There are actually a lot of, I've met a lot of people, actually, that are half Iranian, half black. So it's not as uncommon as you'd think. But I've never met anyone, other than my two brothers, that are also half European, a quarter Middle Eastern, a quarter African. So I'll do a DNA test. I'm sure that'll be fun for me. I'll do, like, 3 different companies, and then like compare and contrast the results. But yeah, as for who I identify with the most, it depends. I will say the overwhelming majority of my extended family here in Texas is black, because, you know, all my white family is in Pennsylvania. My grandparents do live here, but other than that, literally all of my white family is in Pennsylvania. So I've been to a lot of family reunions, and literally everyone is black except for our family. So we sort of blend. We have to blend in there. But yeah, I'd say most of my friends, I have friends of literally all races. Oh, and then someone asked a comment underneath that I really thought was funny. And they said, if you could be any race, what would you be? And then I saw this guy's response. I just loved it. I lost the comment, unfortunately. But it was like, he was like, oh, I'd be like 2% Pacific Islander, 5% Vietnamese, 10% Angolan. And he just went on and just like the most random stuff. Thought it was hilarious. But no, as for me, I love who I am, to be honest. Like, it's a great conversation starter because, you know, someone's like, where are you from? And then, you know, you tell them like this long list, and they're like, holy crap, really? Like, oh my god, I've never met anyone like that. But yeah, I mean, it's a lot of fun. Anyone could be proud of their racial heritage, you know, not just me, of course. Ich spreche ein bisschen Deutsch. Meine Großeltern lebt auf Deutschland für 10 Jahren. Es ist nicht sehr gut. Ich habe meistens meine Deutsche vergessen. But yeah, I do remember a little bit of German from my grandparents and from high school. I took German for about 5 years. And my last name is sort of a weird German name. And I won't say what it is, but it is fairly common in Austria. Now, a lot of people ask me what I'm studying in university. Like, am I studying anthropology, history, genetics? A lot of people think that's what I'm majoring in. But no, right now I'm actually majoring in actuarial science, which has a lot to do with mathematics and statistics, which I'm a huge fan of, like, calculating stuff, crunching numbers. So that's really what I love. I do love history and learning about people. But even more than that, I think I'm a big fan of the numbers, which is probably left over from my high school days. Now, a lot of people ask me, like, where would I want to live, travel? To be honest, I really do love Texas, where I live. I think the Dallas area is, like, the best place in Texas. No offense to anyone else. I will say, though, I have traveled to Germany, Quebec, Mexico, Quintana Roo, which is in the far south, Honduras, Belize, all great countries. But I have to say, my favorite place that I've ever traveled to has got to be Singapore. I loved Singapore. I went there after my senior year of high school, and yeah, a lot of fun. We were helping people learn English. Oh, and I remember this one Chinese Singaporean guy. Great guy, very nice. But he asked her what race she was because he was curious. And when she told him, he just thought it was the funniest thing in the world. He just started cracking up. He was like, oh my gosh, that's so funny. Half Iranian, half black. Oh, that's so funny. I don't know. He was a nice guy, though. Oh, and a lot of people ask me, what are your favorite and least favorite things about YouTube and making videos? Now, I love YouTube and I love making videos. Most of the time that I'm not making videos or going to class or something like that, I'm actually watching other people's YouTube videos, or even in class sometimes. But yeah, my favorite part of making a video would definitely be the research and writing the script. Typically, my scripts are about 3 pages each, and yeah, I love doing the research, reading online, looking at textbooks of mine. But my least favorite part would definitely be recording, because I don't know if you've noticed, but I mess up my words a lot. Like, a lot. It's very frustrating. Trying to record a 10-minute video literally takes me like hours, just because I mess up so much. I have to be like, oh, and then I have to restart the sentence. But yeah, the recording and editing part generally takes like, I want to say like 8 or 9 hours. So maybe like a third of a day, or like half of the day that I'm awake. But sometimes like I won't start until like 8 p.m. So I won't be done till like 4 a.m. But yeah, that's fun. I don't mind making videos. My least favorite part about YouTube would be when people just, they look at the title, they look at the thumbnail of a video, and they don't even watch it. They just immediately are like, oh my god, like, he must be like this. So they immediately dislike and leave a completely uninformed comment that shows that they didn't watch the video at all. For instance, I made a video a few weeks ago called "What Will Happen When the World is One Mixed Race?" And it was a completely hypothetical video. But I did a lot of research. I was very proud of that video. I did a lot of research. I thought it was a really interesting topic. It was completely factual, except at the end I put in my opinion, right? But I was certain to add a disclaimer literally within the first 30 seconds. And I said, I'm not necessarily promoting this idea of the world becoming one mixed race. I'm just going over what it would look like hypothetically, right? And so if anyone watched more than 20 seconds of the video, they would have been like, oh, like, this guy isn't a globalist, Marxist, or whatever people called me on that video. But no, they didn't watch it. They immediately saw the thumbnail and title and were like, oh my god, he's saying we should all become one race and lose all our culture and history. Even though in the video, like, I specifically said that I don't agree with that. And so it's just really, really frustrating that people didn't even watch the freaking video and they just immediately disliked. And I looked at the analytics, and what's funny is a country like India, right, where, you know, most people have a sort of mixed background, the response from the likes and dislikes was overwhelmingly positive. But I looked at the analytics, and the response from the United States, Europe, Canada, Australia, it was mostly negative. So it just goes to show that people didn't watch the freaking video. But yeah, I'd say the positives of the YouTube comment section far outweighs the negatives. Even if you have to dig a little bit, for like the first hour or so that I release a video, I'll take a look at the comment section, and you know, I just love hearing about people's experiences and opinions on these things. And it's also a place where I get most of my video ideas from. Oh, and a lot of people were asking me what I thought of the "We Was Kangs" comments. Okay, like, I understand like why people made them, because I will say when my channel was first starting, when it was fairly small, like probably less than 1,000 subscribers, I did receive like a lot of hate, a lot of dislikes, a lot of just horrible comments directed towards me. But yes, I will say that at first, my channel was just bombarded with Afrocentrists and stuff like that, and like it was really frustrating. It was really frustrating for me because like I'm just trying to make factual videos. Yeah, I get a lot of stuff wrong sometimes, but when I do, I don't have an agenda. Like I'm not trying to push African supremacy, white supremacy, Asian supremacy. I'm not trying to push anything like that. And so it was very frustrating. So I understand why people make those comments, but now it just sort of seems like, you know, when you make those comments, it seems like you're making fun of all black people. So, I mean, I do understand, like, why it was funny at first, but I feel like people just pushed it way too far. It should have died, like, after the first or second time, because, like, yeah, I do agree that people who say that the original Native Americans were black, I think that's ridiculous and untrue. But by making the "we was Kang" comments like every single video, it does sort of seem like you're putting down all black people. So I hope you understand where I'm coming from. So yeah, that'll about wrap it up. Thank you if you've gotten this far in the video so far. I will say, it sort of just blows my mind that so many people are interested in the same stuff that I'm interested in. Like when I first in high school, when I was first learning about different peoples and cultures from all over the world, I thought that I was a freak. But now that 50,000 people also think that what I'm making is interesting and worth hearing about, it really means a lot. So thank you all so much for subscribing. Hope you understand, you know, my point of view in this video. And as always, thanks for watching, everyone. It has been Mason. Oh, and be sure to leave me any extra questions you have in the comments. I'll be sure to answer them. And I'll see you next time.